All right. Well, hello, everyone. I hope you all can see and hear me. Thank you for being here today. It has been a while since we have done one of these, so it feels good to shake off those cobwebs and get back into a rhythm of having one of these a week. I hope you all had a great holiday season and new year. And now, without further ado, I will jump into it. My name is Daniel Leitner, and I'm a financial advisor here at Hendricks Wealth and Estate Management. Today, I'm going to walk you through one of the biggest financial decisions people face in their 20s, 30s, and even beyond that. Should I buy or should I rent? Now, let me clarify, there is no sales pitch here. I am not licensed to sell real estate. My goal is simply to show you the math most people never see so you can make a confident, informed decision tailored to your situation. So, what people are told. Most of us grew up hearing things like renting is throwing money away or buying is always better in the long run. But those phrases oversimplify a really complex math problem. And when you oversimplify the math, people are apt to make emotional decisions that sometimes hurt them financially. Now, believe you me, I am all in favor of simple math, but not at the expense of making a poor financial decision. The real question isn't just should I rent from a landlord versus buy a house and have a mortgage? The real questions should be, what is the total cost of owning a house? More often than any financial advisor would want, people just look at how much the mortgage is when they try to decide if they can afford a house. There are so many more expenses that go into a house that I know some of you homeowning veterans out there know all about that I will cover on the next slide. Another question is, what is the opportunity cost of tying up a large lump sum of cash in a house for a down payment? Think about how much money your down payment could have generated if it were invested in the stock market. Now, I am not saying you should forgo owning a home forever just because of how much money your down payment could have made if it was invested in the stock market. And that is where our third question comes into play. How does your life flexibility factor in? Think about whether you plan on moving in the near future or staying in the area, for example. Once you understand those three things, the decision gets a lot clearer. So let's dive into the true cost of buying a house. As we previously discussed, when people compare renting to buying, they usually only compare rent versus the mortgage payment, and that's the first big mistake. Here's what owning actually includes. There's the mortgage, but on top of that, you also have property taxes, homeowners insurance, maintenance and repairs, which on average can run about 1 to 2% of the home's value every year. So if someone buys a $400,000 home, they could easily be spending $4,000 per year just on maintenance over time. And that's before the roof, water heater, or HVAC ever breaks. Then there's the possibility of HOA fees. And there's always those upfront closing costs, which are often between 2 to 5% of the purchase price. Another reason people give all the time as a reason to buy a house is that you're building equity, which is true. But early on, most of your payment goes to interest, not principal. In the first 5 years of a 30-year mortgage, equity builds up very slowly, and appreciation is not guaranteed. Housing markets go up and down and sometimes sideways for long stretches. So home ownership does build wealth, but usually slowly at first, and then is apt to grow unevenly over time as markets change, just like with anything else. Now, let's cover the opportunity cost of buying a home. When you buy, your down payment doesn't just poof disappear, it becomes illiquid. If someone puts $80,000 down on a home, that's $80,000 that can't be invested, can't be used for a business idea, and can't be used for career flexibility. And it can't be easily accessed without selling or borrowing. Those lost abilities are what we call opportunity cost, and it's one of the biggest hidden costs of home ownership people don't calculate. Let's jump to look at the true cost of renting. Now, renting isn't free either, of course. You have the rent itself, potential rent increases, and renter's insurance. But you don't pay for repairs, worry about market downturns as much, or lose freedom if your job changes. Renting is more predictable and it gives you mobility and simplicity, which can be extremely valuable in people's 20s and early 30s. They don't have to worry about coming up with cash for a furnace going out or a leak in the roof. or any of those other homeowner nightmare expenses. In most real-world scenarios, buying usually starts to win financially after about 7 to 10 years, not after 2 or 3. Now, this is not a guarantee, and there are obviously exceptions, but it is a rule of thumb to keep in your back pocket as you think about what decision is best for you. So, when does it make sense to buy versus rent? To simply put it, if you plan to stay in one spot long term, buying often makes the most sense. If you're likely to move, change careers, or relocate, then renting can actually be the smarter financial move. Here are a couple more reasons for when buying usually makes the most sense. That is when your income is stable, you have a solid emergency fund, you plan to stay in the area for at least 7+ years, and you're comfortable with fluctuating expenses. If those boxes aren't all checked yet, renting isn't a failure, it's often just financially strategic. Here's the truth. There is no universal right answer to renting versus buying. The right move depends on your income, savings, goals, career path, and timeline. If you'd like help running the numbers for your specific situation on what buying would actually look like versus renting, I'm happy to sit down and complete that analysis with you. And just to reiterate a quick point, we don't sell real estate here at Hendricks, and we don't get paid differently whether you rent or buy. Our job is simply to help you make smart financial decisions with the information you have. On this slide, we have a list of our upcoming webinars. So next Wednesday, the 14th, Tom is presenting on home buying essentials. So if you enjoyed our presentation today and feel like you got something positive out of it, please join Tom's webinar as he dives deeper into home buying. We do not have a webinar on the 21st, but the week following that, on Wednesday, January 28th, Jim Madel is presenting on turning your employee perks into wealth. You gotta love those perks, and you will love turning them into wealth even more. That is all I have for you today. Please feel free to click into the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. You can find more information about us at our website listed on the slide at www.hendrickswealth.com. And I'll wait here to give you some time to type in any questions you may have.
Thanks, Dan. That was really good presentation there, and wanted to say for anyone out there, Dan has told you about the next 2 webinars. We are doing this as a continual weekly session, and they all take place at 11:30 Central Time. And if you're interested, you can visit our website at hendrickswealth.com and click on the events tab to see upcoming and future events. All right, I don't see any questions coming in, Dan. Something in, wrap it up.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you for letting everybody know what we have coming in the pipeline. And with that, I will say thank you for your time today. I hope you found this presentation helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Take care, everyone.